Hi everyone, this is Rick again. I hope you've enjoyed the last couple of caricature lessons that we did. So today we're going to do a slightly different one. Instead of drawing children, we're going to try and do a young adult. But before I begin, I thought it might be useful to show you the pencils I'm using, just in case anybody's interested. So I'm going to hold this up. So this is a Derwent Artist's pencil, and the serial number, if you're interested, is 5700, I think, or 6700. I think it's 67. Okay, and it's called Ivory Black. It's a great pencil. It just has a nice waxy feel to it. It doesn't break off. It doesn't get the paper all messy. You don't get it all over your hands and all over your table and everything. So I find it's a very, very good material to use. Okay, here we go. So this chap here, what we're going to do, we're going to start as usual with the shape of his face. You're probably getting used to this by now, I hope. So it's quite round. Same thing again. The second stage is the center line, where we put the nose and the mouth and the chin. It's all going to go along this line. We're going to put his eye line, if you notice, a little higher up than we did with the children. So it's up here somewhere. His eyes we're also going to put a little bit closer together. This is in direct contrast to what we did before, where we talked about children and young people and even young animals having wide set eyes. Okay. So I'm just adding the eyebrows now. Now, he doesn't have a very big nose, but we're going to make out that he has anyway, just for a bit of fun. So let's really push this out to about this level. Okay. Now what I like to do at this point is to place a shadow under the nose. Now it's not really necessary, but it helps me to just remember that it is a three-dimensional object that's sticking out of his face. So and think of it like Mr. Potato Head or something. When you put that object on the potato, this is what you're drawing. It's a three-dimensional thing that's sticking out. And this shadow down below, it really does help me to remember that. Okay, so we've got eyes, nose. Next thing is the mouth. Now normally the mouth would be under the nose, but in this case what we're going to do is cheat it a little and actually have the mouth a lot higher than you would think. And I'll show you why we do that in a moment. Okay, so eyes, nose, mouth, and then the last thing of all, again, same sequence we did with the children, is the chin. Okay, so we're just going to do that, just like a big lump sticking out there. Good. Now the next thing is to get the shape of the face. So we're going to just come in a little bit around the eyes here. And it's going to swell right up around the cheek here. And also around here on the other side. Okay. Now a couple of ears either side. One here. One here. And he does have a couple of earrings, which are great, so we're going to really push those as well. So there's one out here. Anything like that that you can see to just be a bit cartoony is always good fun. Now, one thing we're going to do here is make the top of his head a lot smaller than you would expect. It's just, again, another cartoon technique or trick, if you like, to make people look a bit dimmer than they usually are. So I hope Jamie doesn't mind that too much. So here we go. So instead of making the head really big like it normally is, we're keeping it quite small. And that's what caricature is all about. It's not just about making things really big. It can sometimes be about making things small as well. It's all about that contrast and that balance between the two. Okay, so that's enough for now. I can always come back to that later on. Now we've got that. Good. And then what we're going to do as well is give him quite a slim neck. Bit of a shadow under there. I always find shirts that don't quite fit are quite funny as well. Rather than it being a neatly fitted shirt, if things are a little bit either too big or too small, that's always quite a nice thing to do. And again, complete lack of any sort of shoulders or anything, just to give him that look of just being a little bit sad. Good. Now, the other great thing about drawing adults is the facial hair. So that's one thing. The females might have long eyelashes, they might have earrings, they might have fabulous hairstyles. Once you go beyond children, the adults do have an awful lot that you can use and play around with. So in this case, what we're going to do is return back to his upper lip. We'll put a moustache up there. And then we're looking carefully at the shape of his beard. Beards aren't all the same. Some of them are quite carefully cut and trimmed. So in this case, he's got actually quite a space in the centre here. So we're going to make sure we keep that. These are all little clues that will make it really look like Jamie. Apart from the small head, of course, but at least his beard will be accurate. Okay, so this line here, if you notice there's a lot of space here. He doesn't have a beard that goes way, way up to his face. It is quite open down in this area, so we're going to keep that. Right, so I think that's all I need for now for the rough work. And now what we're going to do is go back in like we did with the children before and do some cleanup. So using our fabulous rubber, which is a Faber-Castell dust-free rubber, which is really good, especially if you're a bit allergic to pencil rubber dust, which can affect people quite badly. You can give you like itchy eyes and all that sort of thing. Those dust-free rubbers are fantastic. Now, when I did the beard before, I did the shape of the beard, but it still needs to be, it still needs to have texture added. So what I'm going to do is just go around very gently around that beard area and add a little bit of roughness, if you like, a bit of texture, just so it doesn't look like a really smooth beard. that's going to help. We're going to put a bit of shadow under the nose, like this, just to give it a bit of dimension. And again, a bit of shadow down the side of the face. Remember we talked before about using the side of the pencil. We've got a bit of shading on the shirt just to finish it off. And we'll just put his name up there. It's always nice to put somebody's name. There you go. Jamie, all done. I'll see if I can go in a bit closer for you. There you go. How's that? Okay, thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.